right along into the fashions, girl. We're going to move into our fashion corner, starting with Miss Cheryl Lee Ralph, looking as fine and divine as she does at the ripe age of 67 years old. Now, I don't know where she was in this picture at this event, but she looked stunning. Yeah, someone else who was, and she's always looked good, even back on the Moesha days. Oh, what now? What? Somebody help me remember. What was that Moesha scene where she was? It was a real heavy scene, and she was crying and with Frank, with the dad. What did he do? Cheat on her or something? Something happened where she was very upset, and they damn near, I think they about broke up. It was on the Moesha show. We gonna dig into the archives later, right? Moesha was a while ago, folks. Somebody else, one of y'all, if y'all know, put it in the comments, message me, let me know what it was, because I know that scene. Yeah. I gotta go look it up later. Next in the fashion corner, we have Teyana Taylor. Let me tell y'all something. You have to bear with me. That's a fun, because she got a song called Bear With Me. You have to bear with me while I express to you how much I love Teyana Taylor, and how much I feel like she's overlooked in the industry, but she wasn't overlooked at this event. But I just love Teyana Taylor. She's a triple, quadruple threat. I love everything that she's about. She's a choreographer, she's a dancer, she's a singer, she's a writer, she's a producer, she's a director. I would definitely want her to be a part of anything I have going on that she would be willing to participate in. But baby, she was wearing that dress at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions. She was inducting Miss Dionne Warwick herself into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and she wore a green beaded fringe dress and paying homage to Dionne, classic Dionne Warwick piece. And when I tell you, baby, she wore that shit. Wore that shit. And she looked facts. Hold the sign. You do good with that. You do good with that. Yeah, she was very elegant, very presenting, spoke well, had on her little, vintage glasses and shit. And Mrs. Warwick, Miss Warwick looked very pleased. She looked very happy. She looked very proud. She looked very honored, which she should have been. And I was very happy to see them have that moment. And excuse me. Take that bass on my voice, honey. And they say,
go crazy.
And they say that Teyana Taylor is supposed to be playing Dionne Warwick in her upcoming biopic, and I think that's a dead on, because when you look at the pictures of Dionne Warwick back when she was Teyana, they're dead ringers. You know who else is a dead ringer? I think if they ever do a biopic about Donna Summers, Kelly Rowland should play her.
Oh, yeah.
Kelly Rowland is a dead ringer for Donna Summers. And there's one more. If they ever do a Chaka Khan biopic, somebody look up this girl, because I do not. Okay, y'all remember that model that was in The Game? This is not going to help. Busta Rhymes featuring Mariah Carey. Hold on. So Busta Rhymes had that "Baby If You Give It to Me, I Give It to You" song, right? 20 years later, he did like a part 2 song. It's not the same song, but it's another song. And he did another song with Mariah Carey, and he had a girl in the video. The girl in the video looks just like Chaka Khan. If they did a Chaka Khan biopic, she needs to play her. But I want to look up her name so everyone, oh yeah, Where I Belong. Who was the model in the Where I Belong music video? Where I Belong, Busta Rhymes, da-da-da-da-da. Was the boy in the Where I Belong music video? Busta. I'll edit this part out. Busta Rhymes. What is that girl's name? That's so irritating. Well, y'all have to go back and watch the damn video. Shit. Oh no, IBDM. Sorry, never mind. Director Chris Robinson. Is this her name? Tay Hackard. I think that's her name. Yeah, I think that's her name. What is it? Ashante Hackard? LaShante? LaShante Hackard. So I'm going to start that part up. If they ever do a Chaka Khan biopic, I think that LaShante Hackard should definitely play her. She's a dead ringer, especially in that Where I Belong music video with Busta Rhymes and Mariah Carey, when she had that red hair, that big red hair off to the side, and did that Chaka Khan Indian, Fox side, that Native American. Let me tell you something. She is a dead ringer for her too. So I think if they did one of those, she should definitely be in the Chaka Khan biopic. Next in the fashion segment, we have the Victoria's Secret fashion show. which happened in Paris, I believe, because it was Paris Fashion Week, and there was a lot going on. One thing I like about the Victoria's Secret fashion show, it was always a big deal ever since watching it when I was younger, when it first came out. It was always a big deal. It was always on primetime television and all that, and it still is. But I remember all of the girls looking the same. And now it's like when I saw it this year, there were big models, there were thick models, there were tiny girls, there were dark girls, there were bright girls, there was just an array of all different types of women, and I was very happy to see the growth and the inclusion in that. But that's not even why I mentioned it. Do you want to know why I brought up the Victoria's Secret fashion show?
Why?
Because of the way they closed it with Miss Tyra Banks. Baby, when I tell you, Tyra Banks stepped out on that bitch and walked.
Still playing.
Walked. Now, she hasn't been on the Victoria's Secret runway in 20 years. Yep. And I thought it was very nostalgic just how because the last time she was on the Victoria's Secret runway, Cher performed that. Remember, Do You Believe?
Yep.
Cher performed that, and this year, Cher performed again, and while she was walking the runway. And it's just, it was so, you know, whimsical and nostalgic and poetical and shit. It was very nice. It was very nice. I thought that she walked. Yeah, my fan was blowing. That bitch blew off the table. It was hot with all these lights. But she was definitely walking that fucking runway. And you know how you know she's a real model? A real OG super model? Because them shoes was
high. It was high.
Fuck high. Them shoes was barely shoes. Them shoes was straps and little. This is what Tyra was walking on. Was rocking, but when I tell you, listen, I have a model walk myself. So I know, I've been taught how to walk like that. So I know what goes into it. You breathe and you got to look real calm while you
strut.
And when I tell you she smiled down that bitch and she did that shit, new body and all. She got a big old, she got a mommy's body now, but she was fat. She looks great. No, she doesn't have a model's body anymore, technically, as far as from the era she came from. But when I meant not a whole nother body like it's two of them, I mean a whole new body. I've never seen Tyra Banks so womanly and voluptuous, but now she's a mother. Right. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that has something to do with it. But Tyra Banks is still that girl.
She is. Nobody can tell her.
Been that girl. Now, I know she married the Wall Street guy and had a baby, and she broke into acting, and she even did some singing for a while, and she had America's Next Top Model, and she even had the talk show, which I used to love. I used to come home every day after school and watch that talk show. I love the Tyra Banks talk show. But one thing that is true to her, they could call Tyra in the next 20 years, and I bet you she'll strut down that runway just like she did the other.
Yep, exactly. She knows what she's doing.
No, she knows what she's doing, but you know who else knows what she's doing and who is not to be tampered with? Miss Naomi Campbell. Now. I don't think Tyra would be as sharp on her game as she is had Naomi not made sure she was. Because, girl, Naomi Campbell has nothing to be tampered with either. I saw her walking the Dolce & Gabbana show, or I saw her walking a fashion show in Fashion Week recently. When I tell you, her walk is undeniable. It's undeniable. That bitch walks like...
She probably studied Tyra and picked up stuff from her.
Or maybe Tyra studied Naomi. Because Naomi was out first. No, I'm serious now. The difference is Naomi kind of paved the way for Tyra because Naomi is a UK British supermodel. And that's why she's such a big deal in Europe because, that's over there. Tyra Banks is our American supermodel, our American black supermodel. Right. So they were always kind of neck and neck because they came out around the same time. But I think their lanes were their own. Tyra took her platform and she did her own thing with it, and she did something different with it. Either way, both of the ladies look lovely. I even watched that episode of Tyra Banks when Naomi Campbell came on her show and they made amends and they hugged and cried and kissed. But I think the world might have wished that they partnered up and started doing more together. But I think. I think clearing the air was fine. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? And they moved on. But speaking of fashion, the Fashion Week, the last person in my fashion corner before we go over to the celebrity gossip is Miss Cardi B. Now, I know Cardi's going through a lot, but one thing a Libra will do. And you ain't gonna look like shit you going through. That bitch looks good. And the more she goes through, she looks better. And that's how it's supposed to be.